Welcome back, guys, to Under the Influence. This is 2023, baby, and we are going after it. We are going after the quantum leap this year. We are not holding anything back. We are getting after it, and we are going to do things in such a slow burn that there's literally no way that we could not succeed. I basically took off the month of December. I was so fucking burnt out. And there were so many things that went sideways for me from literally September until December. But then there were also all these things that came through that were such big opportunities and that just completely changed the trajectory of my career path and my success. And one of the things was that I had to make several massive decisions. I had to really look at where I want to be and where I want to go. And am I happy? Do I enjoy my career? Do I want to continue this into 2023? Am I exhausted? Am I tired? All these things. So in 2022, I was kind of known for this entrepreneur that was doing all the things. I was able to show up and be present and manage multiple projects and really hit the ground running and take on a lot and be able to manage my time. And quote unquote, I was known for not being the burnout girl. I could avoid burnout, I could get through it. And a lot of the podcasts that I went on last year, the same topic and the same question was, Whitney, how do you not hit burnout? What's the secret? What's the trick? And I'm going to tell you what, I worked more than I've ever worked in 2022. I scaled the agency, I scaled Get Supr, I took on a fractional CMO position for this amazing new company called Mellow Water. I was working and consulting with new brands, new startups. I was fucking everywhere. And I did it. I did everything. I showed up. I was the workhorse. I was the visionary, everything. And then shit started going sideways, and I realized how completely unhappy I was, and how exhausted I was, and how I love doing both. But there comes a point where you really want to be able to let the dust settle and look back and look at everything you've built. And the direction I was going was not going to lead me to that point of being truly happy in my own success. So, cue Whitney taking off the entire month of December. It was glorious. I worked here and there. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I definitely worked a couple days, but thank God for my team and our director of operations, and honestly, every single team member at Eckis Marketing that was just running and manning the agency. There was a lot of opportunity that came in through December. There was a lot of things going on. There was a lot of moving parts. And one of the biggest things was that I started to feel my anxiety just go through the roof. And I started to feel this burnout just really paralyze me. And I was like at this point where I was so like avoidant of my agency and all my businesses, and I didn't want to do anything. I literally was like, okay, it's time. Like, I need to take time off, and not just like, let's go on vacation. Like, I need to sit in my house in my Barefoot Dreams robe and light every single candle and make Christmas cookies and just be bored. This concept started coming to me when I was working with my mindset coach, Amy, and then also to chatting with Christina Rice, who's done a lot of mindset work as well with me and basically really helps me spiritually. They both help me spiritually. They're both incredible women. And they both were like, it's time. Like, it's time for you to take a rest, and not just like a rest of like, let's go on vacation and let's plan out 2023, but like, let's get you bored so that we can get back this creativity and we can get you back in the state of alignment where you can just move into the new year and move into all the projects you want to do with such a new energy and such a new vision. And after all the shit that I went through in those last 4 or 5 months, it was needed. But anyway, so I was bored, and I was like, I wasn't even bored. I allowed myself to be bored, and it was the greatest feeling ever. Like, there was no better feeling. I think everyone should do this. Take off 2 weeks if you can. If you have that luxury, take off 2 weeks. I'm in a very unique position in my job, in my career, being the owner, and I have that ability and have the stability of my team of, very substantial clients and a very, honestly, functioning business where I can do that. If you can do this, I would say do it. Take off 2 weeks, stay at your house, and do nothing. Try to limit your social media use. If you want to binge Netflix, try to binge it within like a certain amount of time. Like for me, it was more so like I wanted to do that like at night, and I just got bored. Like I cleaned our entire garage. Like who does that? Like I baked. I don't bake. Like I took so much time to just lean back into this feminine creative energy and do nothing. And it was so healing. I had so many breakdowns and breakthroughs. I was on and off of being sick, which shows me that my body was actually releasing and purging like all this stress inside of me. And I remember during this month, everyone was asking me, what's my plan? What's the next line of attack? What are we going to be doing in 2023? And I was like, I have nothing for you. I have no idea. I have nothing. I'm not there yet. And I'm not ready to be there yet. And I'm not going to force some 2023 year plan that doesn't make any sense just for the sake of giving everyone something to look at. So that was pretty difficult. That was pretty hard. And the reason why I did that was because, again, I wasn't in this aligned state. I wasn't thinking as my like normal visionary self. I was thinking in a scarcity, burnt out, overdrawn mindset. And it wouldn't have done anyone good. So that was a little tricky. Anyway, so through this whole point, I know this is a long story, but I'm getting to the point, I promise. One day I just started thinking about, and I journal a lot. I try to journal every single morning. One day I just started thinking about what would my life look like if I had everything I really wanted. Like what do I really want to do? Like if everything could be successful and be a complete dream, what would it look like? Do I want to open a bar? Do I want to never work again? Do I want to take off and go be a nomad and go live in every single country for a year? Take a hiatus, fall off the map? Do I want to delete all my social media? What really excites me? And I started writing down like all these ideas. And I was just like, and little stuff started coming up, like these little things that I think I've always wanted to do, but have never really been on the table because everything else has prioritized that. Things like I want to learn how to play the piano and I want to get back into playing the guitar. I know like one song and like 3 chords. Anyway, I really shouldn't say it. I don't play the guitar. I know that. And all these things just started downloading and just started coming to me. And I was like, okay, wait, this is kind of cool. Like, let's play around in this playfulness area. Let's play around in this daydreaming area. And so I kept thinking about it. I started writing out too, like what I wanted my life to look like in like 5 years. I did a visualization of like meeting Whitney. Gosh, I think when she was 36, I just kind of was playing around with all these different ideas. And all of a sudden things just kind of started shifting. I found myself running to my Notion on my desktop, on my laptop computer. My God, on my computer, whatever. And I also found myself writing in all of these notes on my phone. Like it was just kind of like these like downloads of what I wanted. And so in November, I turned 29. And one of the things that I did is I wrote out 29 things that I'm calling in this year. Everything from how I want to feel in my body to what I want my relationships to look like, what I want business to look like. I even wrote down like my signs, like angel signs, or for example, I don't know if you call it a spirit animal or spirit sign or whatever you want to call it, but my sign is a hummingbird. Every time I see a hummingbird, it's a reminder that I'm in the right place at the right time and I need to keep moving forward. And that sign was actually kind of gifted to me from my grandma. And she used to buy me all these little glass hummingbirds when I was a kid. And so it's something that I wrote down, like every time I see a hummingbird, I'm going to stop and pause, kind of like the same way you would see an angel number and just kind of reflect. So I wrote down 29 things I'm calling in. And as I started doing this, I started thinking about, okay, I'm calling in all these things. And then I'm also wanting to do all these things. And there's this correlation in between of what are these goals and these intentions that I want to move into. So all that to say is in December, I got back into my body, got back into my mind. And then I was like, I wasn't just thinking about 2023. I was thinking, what the hell do I want? What does Whitney want? What direction can we move? Because there has been so much shit that has hit the fan. There have been all these opportunities just come, like, you guys, like, one thing would go wrong and then an opportunity would drop in. And then something would surrender and be lost and then something would come in. And it was like this for like since September until December. It was just shifting. It was like kind of like a volcano that's like simultaneously falling apart and then like re-erupting and like everything's building to it. It was like this whole change of landscape. And while I'm doing that, I'm being the entrepreneur that I am, I was like, I really do want this game plan. I really do want to look at what 2023 is. But after reflecting on 2022, I was like, you know what? There were so many goals that I had set for 2022 that never truly came to fruition because there were so many different opportunities coming in 2023 that a lot of my goals had shifted even within the first quarter. Like the goals that I had made in December of 2021, almost you could have thrown out the window by February of 2022. And this concept leads me to basically what we're going to talk about today on the podcast, which is this quantum leap and how I'm planning to quantum leap in 2023. Now, a quantum leap is like next level, out of the universe. Like you are leaping into something completely new. This kind of become like this theme word for me this month because everything has been shifting and everything has been changing. And again, instead of thinking about this is all happening to me, this is all happening for me. Like all of this, and same for you. Anything that is shifting, that is getting taken away, that is being removed and pulled out, like the rugs being pulled out from underneath you, usually means that there's something better that you need to be moving into. And God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever your higher power is, if you believe in that, it is redirecting you to something new. And I truly believe that. And it is scary as shit. And it is awful. And I tell you, the breakdowns, the pure anxiety, I went back to not being able to sleep. But there's something that is evolving in my life and in this landscape and with these businesses right now that I need to pay attention to. And so I have to lean on that piece of faith, or else what else do I have left, right? Going back to this, I started thinking, okay, let's get tangible here. Let's put all this stuff on the side. All these things are happening. But let's be tangible. Let's create this game plan that you can write down all these things and you can review all these things and you can start leaning into this a little bit more. And we can actually have prompts and journal items and Notion templates for you to start navigating what you want to do. The best part about this is that I created this Notion template, and the Notion template essentially breaks down all of your goals and desires. So let's start at the beginning, because I'm going to share how I did this with you. So number one, anyone that wants to do this, I recommend taking out a journal right now, write some things down. You can always go back and re-listen to this. But this is how we're all going to quantum leap in 2023. So first and foremost, I want you to set the scene. I want you to get in your very cozy Barefoot Dreams robe, light some candles. If you want to light a fire, whatever you want to do, whatever like your element is, I want you to create that element. I want you to go hard into it. And I want you to sit down with your journal or on your laptop or on your phone notes or however you take notes best. And I want you to write every desire you have, big or small. Do you want children? Do you want a husband? Do you want to live, in Beverly Hills in a fat mansion? Do you want to make $1 million a year? Do you not want to work at all and be, have a ton of babies and be a very happy, supported stay-at-home mom? Do you want to never get married and travel and be free and wild as you possibly can? Whatever it is, write down every desire you have, every single one. Like, just take up pages. The second step is I want you to look through all of those. And I want you maybe in a column right next to it. What I did is I did all my desires on the first page, and then I did the second part on the second page. However you want to format it, it does not matter. Just make sure they correlate, right? So you can either have all your desires maybe on your left-hand side, and then all of these, I'm going to call them action items, on your right-hand side, or underneath, but they just need to correlate. They need to line up so that you can say, my dream is to play guitar. And then the next one is the action item. So the second portion, the second column, these action items are going to be actionable steps that you can take to get to your goal. So for example, Whitney wants to learn how to play guitar. Whitney should be taking guitar lessons or find a program on her computer on the App Store that teaches her how to play guitar. So simple action items, right? I want to get married. Okay. I guess my action item for there would be I want to do a marriage visualization that includes my person, that includes everything that I want in this human being. And I want to manifest this every single day. I want to practice with affirmations. I want to practice with visualizations. I want to journal about it every single day. I want to make $250,000 a year. Career opportunities that I could be investigating. Do I need to ask my employer for a raise? Can I offer my employer a commission, based raise? How am I going to get there? Do I need to sell X amount of product in order to profit X amount in order for me to increase my own raise at my own business? So write down your action items next to all your desires, okay? The reason why we're going to do that is because what I found is that sometimes I have these very, very large desires. I have all these things that I really want, and they feel so out of touch. They feel so far away from me. They feel like it's like me asking someone to turn me into Cinderella and put me into a castle. Like it just doesn't feel relatable or achievable. So the action items are actually meant to break down that part in kind of manifesting and goal setting where it gets tangible and it gets achievable. There's a game plan, and your brain and your subconscious is actually able to kind of process that and start road mapping it for you, which is honestly one of the best parts of manifesting. You do that shit in your sleep and it's chef's kiss. So that's the first part. So write all these down. The second part, and this is the part I love, is that you're going to write out a quarterly timeline. So if you guys aren't familiar with quarters, I'm sure everyone is, but the year's broken up into 4 quarters. Okay. You have January, February, March, April, May, June, so on and so forth. So you're going to map out, you can do like a quadrant. Again, I did mine more in a timeline. You're going to create this kind of templatized version inside of this quarterly timeline. And you're going to write out different themes. So you can write out wealth, you can write out romance, relationships, your career, personal growth, mental, physical, whatever you want to do. Like pick your themes and kind of correlate them. And again, I have this all in a Notion template that's really easy to understand, but I want to give you guys the gist of planning and explain it in a long form version so you guys kind of get the big picture. So once you have that, you're also going to write out underneath this quarterly timeline, after you have like your 5 themes, you're going to write new opportunities in quarter 1. Okay. Then you're going to write criteria of success. So you have a little section in your new opportunities in quarter 1 where you could say, hey, I got a raise. Hey, someone came and asked me to invest in their company. Hey, I have an opportunity to create a side hustle, or I have an opportunity to go travel for work. All these new opportunities that are coming in quarter 1. Okay. I want you to write them out. Now, your criteria of success is huge here because what we're going to do, this whole point is that you're going to take all these desires and goals, you're going to take all these action items and steps, and then you're going to take all these new opportunities that are incoming, right? Because opportunities are always coming to you. You're attracting them, they're always coming in. And you're going to start aligning your desires and goals to these new opportunities and see if they meet your criteria of success. See if they still align. The reason why I started doing this was because I was giving myself so much shame in 2022. I would either take on a new opportunity and feel like a failure because I didn't hit a goal that I had set for myself in December of 2021, or I would give up an opportunity and try to stick with that goal that I had set almost over a year ago. So there was a misalignment of these original goals that I had set for myself at the beginning of the year, at the end of the last year, and all these new opportunities that were coming in that were probably shifting my focus and my values. Does that make sense? So basically what I'm trying to say here is that if you set all these desires and goals and all these things that you have, sometimes things can change and these aren't in alignment for you anymore. And as human beings, as people that want to achieve and want success and are crazy ambitious, sometimes we hold ourselves to these goals that just aren't a fit anymore. So, for example, let's just talk income. Maybe you want to make a certain income, but there's this incredible opportunity in the startup, or there's this incredible opportunity for you to go learn a new trade. And maybe you're not going to make that set income, but it fills all these other boxes for you on passion, mission, your lifestyle. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to be able to stay home and work with, stay home and take care of your kids. But it's not going to lead you to this salary point, but it may lead you to something else further down the line that is even more beneficial than just a salary goal that you set the year before, right? So, this whole thing, this whole planning idea, this whole quantum leap is to set up your desires, make sure they have action items. So, again, they're achievable and you still have this all written out. And then evaluate every single month or every single quarter. Do these new opportunities coming in need to be reshifted? Are they more of a priority and a goal now than what I had originally wrote? Or are they not? That's the other thing too. This whole planning template is more of like an accountability partner. It's showing you everything that you want in a very concise way. And again, with these action items and steps that you want to take to get there, but it's also evaluating, do these new opportunities meet my desires? Is this what I really, really want inside? And this is how we're going to measure it. This is how we're going to do this. Because again, I'm over the shame. I'm over feeling bad about myself. I'm over feeling like I have to choose, to have my cake and eat it too. And I think that with this, we now get to turn everything on its head, evaluate what we really, really want, and then move in the best next direction. Now, your criteria of success, this is also something that's huge. You need to really be clear and write this out. It's an example of what you feel success for this year looks like. Okay. So I talked about this visualization I did where I met Whitney when she was 35, 36, whatever. There was just this vision that I had of her, and these non-negotiables came up, and there was a lot of travel. There was a lot of financial freedom. There was a lot of just this expert positioning aura that was around her. And that's what I truly desire. I truly desire this level of freedom in my life where I can be able to do all the things that set my heart on fire, but still be very successful and still have a high level of success. And for me, my criteria of success looks like evaluating these new opportunities with my desires and making sure that if Whitney wants to learn to play guitar, I don't know why I keep fucking bringing up the guitar thing, but apparently I really want to play guitar. But if Whitney wants to play guitar, is she going to take on an 80-hour-a-week job with a startup that is going to not lead her to any downtime and burn her out and not be able to play the guitar, right? Or, is she going to keep doing things the way that she's doing, and she's not going to have any free time. She's not going to be able to explore that passion until much, much later in her life. Like, for example, there's all these different ways to compare your criteria of success. So this is something that's really important that you really need to focus on. And again, the quarterly system, or the way that I'm doing it by 4 quarters, is so that every single quarter, maybe at the end or at the beginning, whatever you want to do, you sit down and evaluate all these new opportunities, all these current goals you have, and you line them up for yourself. And then you're able to evaluate them. In marketing, we have these things, KPIs, which are called key performance indicators. Okay. So basically, your KPI is like your benchmark for how well you're doing or what your progress is within a campaign or like a certain goal or benchmark that you're trying to hit. This planning, this quantum leaping plan is your KPI. It's teaching you how to set KPIs for yourself in a passion driven mission vision way. So this is also too why I also wanted to create this, because I'm so goal oriented. I need a finish line. I need a deadline. Sometimes manifesting for me is so visual and in my head that it becomes hard for me to make it tangible and to be able to put things into a perspective for myself so that I can go out there and achieve them and evaluate them and say, okay, where are we actually at? Now, the other thing too is like, I still struggle with negative self-talk. I still struggle with the fraud mindset. And I think maybe that's just something where I'm still walking through that journey and healing that part of myself. But this is also an incredible way to look back at your year and to practice celebrations. And I am so excited for this because this was also something too that I was working with Amy on. She always wants me to be practicing my celebrations. And a celebration, you guys, is like, I, was able to achieve X, Y, and Z. Celebration can also be like, hey, I did my morning practice and I meditated and I got to have an insane cup of coffee on my way to work and listen to my favorite podcast. Like, that's a celebration too. So all these things are physical celebrations and physical proof of your opportunities, your goals, your criteria of success, and what you are doing and what you are achieving quarter after quarter, month after month. And it is such a great physical piece of proof for yourself and for your mindset to show that not only are you capable of achieving anything, but that you are on the right track. You are on this right path to wherever you want to go. And I think this is something where not only is this going to help me, and again, this was totally my thing for myself, and I'm very excited about it, clearly. But I also think this could help a lot of people. And I also think those that are very similar and maybe they're very hard on themselves or they have very big visions and they feel like maybe their visions are too big to achieve, where it kind of puts them in this chokehold where they feel almost trapped or frozen because it's such a big achievement. They feel like it's just so out of reach. This is the way to go. This is going to help you map it out. This is going to help you look back. It's going to set up that criteria of success. You're going to have your internal KPIs of what is important to you, how you want to live your life, and what are like not your non-negotiables. It's going to make everything very clear. So this is how we're going to quantum leap, guys. Like, this is what we're going to do in 2023. No more bullshit. Plan your resolutions, plan your goals in December, in January, whatever, and forget about them or have them not be aligned in the future. Like, this shit is evolving every single quarter. Every single day, we are leveling up. We are holding ourselves to that criteria of success. We are looking at our desires daily, and we are bringing in the opportunities. So that is it, my friends. That's all I got for you. If you guys do want this Notion template, I'll link it in the show notes. Also, hit me up if this works for you. DM me, you guys, I love when you give me feedback. I love when you ask me questions. I want to be communicating and chatting with you guys. I want to be bringing all the things, all the psychotic things that I do on a daily basis to you. And I also want to hear from you. Does this work? Does this helpful? Is this of value? And I want you to shoot me straight on it. So I love you. Happy New Year. Let's go fucking get it. And mwah, thank you so much for going under the influence with me.